Hi YouTubers, it's Fortune Cookie 45 LC coming to you from the Hot Lead Zone, and today we're going to talk about case trimming, something that we reloaders have to do with our rifle rounds, because the brass will stretch. Well, we're doing .308 Winchester today, and the idea is to trim them to 2.009 inches, which is 0.006 under the maximum. So there's our master case right over there that we use. We put it right in here and we set the set screws. And what Lyman does is there's two of these set rings, and what you do is you set this one for a coarse adjustment and this one for a fine adjustment, so that once they're both tightened, it's not going to move. We got it set at 2.009 inches. Well, a lot of you already know about the Lyman. This happens to be an old one. It's 40 years old, but they're fine. And a lot of companies make these kind of case trimmers. Well, here's some new ideas that you may not have thought of, and that is, what I have here is this is not attached to the bench. There are holes that you can put nails in, but all those do is to keep lateral stability. What really helps is that I have a steel bar here that's anchored to the tabletop, and that offers a brace against any forces in this direction, which is the direction that we're going to be trimming at. So once we have that brace there, we can put force on this, and it's not going to move in this direction, and it's not going to move in that direction, and we're not going to lift it off the tabletop, so it is actually pretty stable, especially when I use both hands. But the problem with these kind of case trimmers is that we get tired because we're pushing this crank in this direction while we're cranking to trim the case, as you see there. And so we're pushing in that direction, and our wrist is going like this to hold this crank. Well, let me suggest to you that if you have the bench that will allow this, that you move over to a rear approach and you come in from this direction. And this gives you free access to the universal collet, which is a nice thing about the Lyman case trimmer, is that it's got a universal collet. You don't have to buy extra collets. You can easily pick up cases over here, put them in the universal collet, and then, now normally I would have my left hand here to steady it, and then this doesn't move. But right now I'm holding the camera, so from this position the right hand is straight. And it's right at my right hip, so that when I trim, I make a little circle with my elbow at my hip, and I'm using my weight to good advantage to drive forward on this brass casing and cause the trimming action. So this is a way to relieve fatigue, and you might try it and see if you like it. Especially with a bracing bar back there, it's not going to go anywhere. Now, I like the Lyman Universal Case Trimmer so much that I got a second one. And you see, this one's also braced against that same bar, which is held securely to the tabletop by those bolts there, you see. The difference is this one has a carbide cutter, and it also has the chuck for the electric drill. So that on this one, I'll be able to run the drill and trim cases by, again, allowing myself to hold the drill right down the axis of this nicely and give it the pressure to trim the case, and it's braced up against the back end so that there's no danger of the movement. So this will allow us to trim cases pretty quickly. So YouTubers, I like the Lyman Universal Trimmer because it has the universal collet, so that we don't have to buy different collets. And all we need are the pilots, but it comes with all the popular size pilots. And when you buy the power attachment, it gives you another cutting head. Now I happen to buy the carbide model, and the carbide model comes with the carbide head and the normal head. So now I have two extra regular steel cutters and a carbide cutter, all complements of Lyman. So YouTubers out there, you gotta do your case trimming. This is one way, and something like this works out pretty well. And as far as I know, there's no one that likes to use it from this direction like this. Everywhere you see people are working from the side like this, but then you're using your muscles differently and causing more fatigue. Bye for now.